Imagine a realm beyond the reach of search engines, a place of anonymity where secrets thrive and mysteries abound. That's the dark web for you. In this episode, we're going to take a deep dive into this enigmatic part of the internet, a place that isn't indexed by your everyday search engine and requires special tools to access. From its layers to its dual nature to its role in privacy, whistleblowing, and cybersecurity. Ready to dive into the depths of the dark web? Let's get started. To fully grasp the dark web, we first need to understand the different layers of the web. Picture an iceberg, the tip, above the water, that's your surface web. This is the internet as most of us know it, the Googles, the Facebooks, the Amazons of the world. It's accessible, it's indexed, it's the place where you do your online shopping, check your emails, and browse your favorite blogs. But as with an iceberg, there's much more beneath the surface. Dive below the waterline and you enter the realm of the deep web. This is where things start to get a little murky. The deep web is all the content that's not indexed by standard search engines. It includes things like your private emails, online banking details, and subscription-based content. It's vast, it's necessary, and it's mostly harmless. But then there's the bottom layer, the abyss, the dark web. This is a small fraction of the deep web, but it's where the internet gets its reputation for being a bit of a wild west. The dark web is intentionally hidden and can only be accessed with special software like Tor. It's not all nefarious despite its reputation. Yes, it's home to black markets and other illicit activities, but it's also a haven for activists, whistleblowers, and those seeking to bypass censorship. It's important to note that the terms deep web and dark web are often used interchangeably, but they're not the same thing. The dark web is part of the deep web, but not all of the deep web is dark. It's like squares and rectangles. All squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares. Now, it's easy to get lost in the depths of these web layers, and there's a lot of misinformation floating around, but remember, knowledge is power. Understanding these layers, their purpose, and their potential is the first step in demystifying the dark web. Now that we've got the basics down, how does one access this mysterious dark web? Accessing the dark web isn't as simple as typing a URL into your browser. It requires special tools. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of how to venture into this hidden part of the internet. The dark web isn't accessed through traditional browsers like Chrome or Safari. Instead, it requires a special type of browser known as Tor, short for the onion router. This name references the multiple layers of encryption that protect your data as it bounces around a global network of servers, much like the layers of an onion. While using Tor, your online activity is almost impossible to track. This is because your data takes a random, convoluted path through numerous servers worldwide, making it extremely difficult for anyone to trace your digital footsteps. However, Tor isn't only about accessing the dark web. It's a powerful tool for maintaining online privacy in general. Whether you're a journalist protecting your sources, an activist avoiding censorship, or just a regular internet user who values privacy, Tor can be a useful tool in your digital arsenal. But remember, the dark web isn't like your regular internet. It's unregulated and can be a risky place. While Tor provides anonymity, it doesn't make you invincible. Always be cautious and aware of potential risks. Before diving into the dark web, it's advisable to use a VPN or virtual private network in conjunction with Tor. A VPN adds another layer of security by masking your IP address, making it even harder for anyone to track your online activities. So, to recap, accessing the dark web involves a combination of special tools and practices designed to maximize your privacy and security. It's not a playground for the naive or faint-hearted. With access to the dark web at our fingertips, what exactly can we find there? The dark web is a place of stark contrasts. It's a hub for criminal activity, but it's also used for legitimate, even laudable purposes. The dark web is notorious for its illicit activities. It's a marketplace for everything illegal: drugs, weapons, counterfeit money, and even hired hits. The anonymity provided by this part of the web allows such transactions to take place with a degree of impunity. This is the side of the dark web that most people are familiar with, the part that gets sensationalized in movies and TV shows. But there's more to the dark web than just this. It's not just a seedy underworld. There's a legitimate side to it as well. The dark web is also home to a number of legal sites. For instance, there are forums for people to discuss sensitive topics freely, without fear of censorship or reprisal. There are news outlets that operate outside the control of oppressive regimes, providing a platform for free speech and dissent in countries where such things are often suppressed. There are also sites that provide services that, while not illegal, take advantage of the anonymity offered by the dark web. For example, there are secure email services that offer a higher level of privacy than you would get with a regular email provider. These services can be particularly useful for journalists working in dangerous areas, or for anyone who wants to communicate without being tracked or monitored. And then there's the positive impact the dark web can have on society. Take whistleblowing, for instance. The dark web can provide a safe haven for whistleblowers to expose corruption, misconduct, or other illicit activities without fear of retaliation. It was through the dark web that the world learned about the massive surveillance programs run by governments around the world, thanks to whistleblowers like Edward Snowden. The dark web has also been used for humanitarian purposes. During times of crisis, when communication networks are often the first things to go down, the dark web can provide a vital lifeline. In the aftermath of natural disasters or during times of civil unrest, the dark web can be used to coordinate relief efforts, get information in and out of affected areas, and even help locate missing persons. So, the dark web is a double-edged sword. On one side, it's a breeding ground for all kinds of illegal activities, but on the other side, it's a tool for freedom, privacy, and even social good. Like any tool, its impact depends on how it's used. So, as we see, the dark web isn't just a den of iniquity, it can also be a force for good. The dark web has another important use, serving as a haven for privacy advocates and whistleblowers. Now let's delve into this fascinating aspect. When we talk about privacy, it's about the ability to control what information about ourselves we share and with whom we share it. The dark web, with its high levels of anonymity, provides an environment where people can communicate and share information without the fear of being tracked or monitored. Take, for instance, the case of Edward Snowden, a former National Security Agency contractor. Snowden used the anonymity of the dark web to leak classified documents that exposed widespread global surveillance programs. His actions sparked a worldwide debate about privacy, government surveillance, and the balance between national security and individual privacy rights. But it's not just about whistleblowing on a governmental scale. Many organizations like businesses and media outlets have secure drop sites on the dark web. These sites allow individuals to safely share sensitive information, exposing wrongdoing and promoting transparency. However, it's crucial to remember that the same tools that protect privacy and facilitate whistleblowing can also be used for less noble pursuits. The same anonymity that allows a whistleblower to expose corruption can also shield a cybercriminal's actions. And then there's the issue of ethical ambiguity. What one person sees as a necessary exposure of truth, another may view as a dangerous leak of classified information. The debate over whether whistleblowing is a heroic act of transparency or a harmful breach of trust continues to this day. But what's clear is that the dark web has carved out a space where privacy is paramount and where the powerful can be held accountable. It's a tool, and like any tool, its impact depends on how it's used. While the dark web can protect privacy and facilitate whistleblowing, it also poses significant cybersecurity challenges. But that's a topic for our next segment. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into the mysterious world of the dark web on MysticMaster. The dark web can be a nightmare for cybersecurity. It's a marketplace for malware, hacking tools, and stolen data. Now let's dive into the murky waters of cybersecurity challenges presented by the dark web. Imagine a bustling bazaar where instead of vegetables and spices, the vendors hawk all manner of digital contraband. From sophisticated malware to hacking tools and even stolen data, these unseemly wares can be found on the dark web. In this digital black market, malware is a hot commodity. These malicious software programs are designed to infiltrate and damage computers without the user's consent. Some can even give hackers complete control over your device, turning it into a puppet in their malevolent schemes. Then there are the hacking tools. These kits are like Swiss Army knives for cybercriminals, complete with exploits to take advantage of software vulnerabilities, methods for bypassing security measures, and techniques for stealing sensitive information. In the hands of skilled hackers, these tools can be devastatingly effective. Adding to the complexity of the issue is the sale of stolen data. In this era of big data, information is a valuable currency, and the dark web is the exchange where it's traded. Everything from credit card numbers to sensitive corporate data can be bought and sold, often for a pittance. The dark web's anonymous nature, combined with its global reach, makes it a formidable challenge for law enforcement. Tracking down cybercriminals is akin to finding a needle in a digital haystack. Even when a lead is found, the international nature of the dark web means that jurisdictional issues often hamper further action. Furthermore, the dark web's encrypted nature makes it incredibly difficult to monitor. Traditional methods of surveillance are often ineffective against the onion routing employed by networks like Tor. This adds another layer of difficulty for those tasked with policing this digital frontier. However, it's not all doom and gloom. Law enforcement agencies around the world are becoming increasingly adept at tackling the cybersecurity challenges posed by the dark web. High-profile arrests and site shutdowns are testament to their growing capabilities. In addition, cybersecurity experts are continually developing new strategies and tools to combat the threats emanating from the dark web. From advanced malware detection algorithms to AI-powered threat intelligence systems, the fight against cybercrime is being waged on multiple fronts. The dark web, as we've seen, is a complex, multifaceted entity. It's a tool, a weapon, a marketplace, and a refuge. But it's also, as we've discussed, a significant cybersecurity challenge. As we continue to delve deeper into the secrets of the dark web in this series, keep in mind that understanding these challenges is the first step in mitigating the risks they pose. As we conclude our journey into the dark web, it's clear that this part of the internet is as diverse as it is mysterious. We've peeled back the layers of the web from the surface we all know and use daily to the deep web, and finally the enigmatic dark web. We've seen how it's accessed with tools like Tor ensuring anonymity. We've highlighted its dual nature with both legal and illegal aspects. It's a place for privacy and whistleblowing, as well as a hub for cybercrime and illicit activities. We've discussed how the dark web impacts cybersecurity, with malware and hacking tools posing significant challenges for law enforcement. But remember, as alluring as the dark web may seem, it's a realm where caution is paramount. Stay tuned for our next adventure into the unknown. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to MysticMaster for more deep dives into the mysteries of the digital world.